Number 13, Grayson Arant says, someone told me Jesus was rich and that was how he was able to feed the 5,000 and their families. I love this stuff. I know that's wrong, but where do they find these theories and how do I help him see that it's not true? Well, if you read the book Tactics by Greg Koukl, you'll actually have some thoughtful things to say there. But yeah, the same question comes up. How did you come to that conclusion? That's a fantastic way to put it for them, because what it does is it forces them to make a case. See, you don't just say, can you prove it, right? Can you prove it is a little bit more aggressive. If you ask someone, how did you come to that conclusion? You're sort of just inviting them to explain to you their thought process that got them to believe that Jesus fed the 5,000 because he was rich, right? Then you can go to the passage that says that Jesus was, well, among other things, poor. He doesn't have a place to lay his head. We have other, because I want him to build a case so I can see it, but you can build a case for Jesus's poverty in a number of ways. The Son of Man has no place to lay his head. When he does go to, when he leaves Nazareth and he stays somewhere in Capernaum, he doesn't even stay at his own house. He stays at Simon Peter's house, right? It's called his home in one text, but that's because he's staying there when he's in Capernaum. It's the home he's staying at there. When Jesus, when he's offered, when the gifts are brought, I to rethink how I'm going to explain this. After Jesus' birth, he was brought to the temple and the offerings for a newborn son were given and his circumcision took place. The offerings that they give are turtle doves, which is to say that they're poor, because God has these sort of tiered offerings. He's like, here's the offering for this, but if you're in poverty, you can just bring turtle doves because they're like the cheapest offering. So these birds, I think they were turtle doves, the birds are offered to show that his family is poor. Right? His father's a carpenter. They live in Nazareth, which is a podunk town that is of nothing impressive. There's zero reason to think Jesus was rich. And then you can add to this that in the feeding of the 5,000, it's clearly a miracle. So if like what we're suggesting here is that Jesus is like, saw the crowd. He went and bought a bunch of food and gave it to them. But what was written was that he miraculously multiplied the fish and loaves. But it's clear in the passage, he doesn't even have food, right? It's somebody else who provides it. And then he multiplies the boys' fish and loaves. When I can add more to this. When Jesus was traveling through his ministry, he doesn't even pay for his own way. He's supported, according to Luke, financially from the donations of women who traveled and followed along nearby and with Jesus and his disciples. And they supported out of their wealth. It's like rich people don't live off charity, but Jesus, he did. And so I think that there's a number of them. You could also say when Jesus offered taxes, right? They say, hey, Jesus, you're going to pay taxes? And he tells Peter, go fishing and there'll be a coin in the fish's mouth. By the way, there are fish in the Sea of Galilee that do actually they harbor their babies in their mouth. And they also are sometimes found harboring rocks because of the habit of having a mouth cavity that harbors babies, and coins even in their mouths. Like, this is a very realistic situation. Anyway, why does he go to a fish for his tax money?